So, shoot, I totally forget what I was saying. Sorry about that. My camera shut off. Okay. Life is not fair, and we don't have, some people are just going to get a bad, bad luck in their lives, and there's nothing we can do to change that. And it's not fair that this person who acts like this is going to have these things, and then you, who are a kind and loving person, are going to have these things. That is, it's not something we can control. So we can spend a lot of time in that place feeling like a victim of life, or we can learn to focus on what's positive in life, and perhaps even turning our gratitude into serving others. There's a wonderful book called Man's Search for Meaning, if this is something that plagues you, that was written by a Holocaust survivor, and it talks about how it basically details his experiences in the concentration camp, and how there were some people who were able to function at a very high level in the concentration camps in such terrible circumstances. And then there are other people who literally just died of broken hearts. And one of the biggest things that separated them was the fact that the people that were very resilient, the people that were very happy and able, not very happy, but they were able to function and continue to persevere in those difficult circumstances by serving others. So that's kind of an interesting way to look at life, and perhaps something you can experiment with and try on as an idea. Let me see where I'm at here. Okay. Yeah, so take a moment when you get a chance and watch that TED Talks, and spend a couple days trying to detail the things that you're grateful for in your life, and try and change your focus, and see if it has any impact on you. It's not an official homework or reflection, but I recommend doing it just for a few days. Okay, slide number 6 is managing your anger. Anger is difficult for some people because they feel bad when they feel angry, or they try and call it something else. Anger is a legitimate emotion. It's very much a part of being human. You're gonna get mad about things. Many people experience anger on a very intense level. Many people push it down and don't allow themselves to experience anger. But when I guess both extremes can have problems. When you are one of those people that pushes it down, anger tends to fester and turn into bitterness within your heart, and it will end up coming out in different forms, perhaps in a comment that you make, or perhaps in the form of put downs for other people, or just overall bitter attitude. And it can affect you physiologically and biologically. I had a friend whose sister experienced a situation where her husband was cheating on her with his secretary. They were always one of those couples, like we totally thought they were going to make it, they were great together, and all of a sudden it turns out he's cheating on her. He gets her pregnant, tells my friend's sister about it, leaves my friend's sister, and goes off and buys the house that my friend's sister had always wanted, and that they had been saving up for years and years together as a couple. Needless to say, this was a very difficult situation emotionally for her to manage. I don't know how she expressed her anger. I'm not close enough to her to know that, but I do know that within a couple years, she had a brain tumor that caused her to be able to lose a lot of her mental faculties and some of her physical functioning as well. And she continues to be on chemo and radiation after several years, just to keep the tumor at bay. So it definitely has an effect on people, physiologically and biologically, when they don't express anger. There is a healthy way, however, to express anger. Like I said, some people are on this opposite extreme where they get very, very angry, and they can express it in violent ways, or in ways that are not productive. Obviously, that's something that you want to manage, and there's help out there for people who do struggle with that. So a healthy way to manage your anger includes refusing to give other people the power to make you mad, So in other words, you might have situations where you need to set a boundary and just let other people react to that boundary, rather than having them drag you into an emotional battle. When people say bad things about you, it's important to try and hear it through the lens of assuming that that person is your very best friend. I know that's really hard to do. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of sensitive to the things that people say about me, even still, this late in my life. However, if you treat everything as if it's your best friend telling you that, it kind of changes the focus of what you're saying and allows you to, number one, be open and listen to ascertaining if there's any truth in what they're saying, or, kind of being able to say, oh, you know what, that really doesn't apply to me, without becoming emotionally attached to it. It's important when you're managing your anger to not be afraid to speak your mind. You have to be able to speak your mind. You have to be able to stand up for yourself. But you don't have to defend yourself to everybody. If somebody makes an accusation or says something that has the potential to put you on the defensive, the best thing you can do is just not defend yourself, and just to kind of let them vent and be angry, and again, ascertain whether there's truth in what they're saying, and then handle that in the best way you can. Try not to attack other people when you're angry. Try and focus on attacking the problem and not the person. And then if you're hurt, you want to express it, but try and express it in a way that is constructive, so you can mend the relationship. It's good to be on good terms with the people around you. It gives you a little more peace in life. Managing anxiety is another thing that can stand in the way of being a joyful and happy person. Anxiety is a normal reaction to a stressful situation, where you might feel butterflies in your stomach. You might feel like you are, you might sweat, or your heart might speed up. And overall, it's kind of like it's an uncomfortable feeling. It's a healthy thing because it can prepare you for a situation where you kind of need to be keyed up, aware, and alert. But on the other hand, if it begins to be something like a constant state in your life, it can wreak havoc on you physically and mentally. It can start disturbing your sleep habits, your eating habits, cause weight loss, can cause you to have so many fears that you begin to act on some irrational fears, can cause excessive worry, fear, dread, and it can cause you to even panic in situations that really don't warrant us to panic. Managing anxiety can be done through a lot of different means. If it is to an extreme in your life where it's interfering with the way that you function, I have a friend who is currently struggling with obsessive compulsive disorder, where his thoughts are non-stop focusing about one problem in his life. It happens to be relationships. And so he cannot stop thinking or talking about that one problem. I mean, it is constant, and it's beginning to interfere with his work life. It's interfering with his friendships, and he gets so caught up in worrying about relationships that it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where those relationships do get ruined. He is just starting to take medication to try and manage this condition, and there are a lot of anxiety medications out there that can help people who have excessive panic attacks, or excessive worry. If you've heard the term panic attacks refer to when a person's heart kind of beats out of control. They may feel excessively nervous. It's a condition that is so powerful when these panic attacks occur that it makes the person feel like they're actually dying of a heart attack. It is that powerful of a physiological response to anxiety. Medication can be useful in managing panic attacks. Medication can also get a person to the point where behaviorally they can work with a counselor or a psychologist to help them overcome some of the behaviors that may be associated with that anxiety, or maybe contribute to the anxiety. And then finally, relaxation techniques can help as well. Guided visualization, prayer, meditation, are all wonderful things that you can do. Progressive relaxation. And you can look all of those up online, and they're useful also in managing anxiety. There is one video that I'd like for you to watch. And it is a TED Talks, another TED Talks. And it is called All It Takes is 10 Mindful Minutes. And it's by Andy, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Puddicombe. And I want you to watch that video and then practice 10 minutes of mindfulness. And I want you to write a paragraph about your experience. Also, I'd like you to read the reflection option from the syllabus on self-esteem, becoming aware of your internal dialogue, and write a sentence or two about the words of your chattering monkey. And you'll know what that means when you read the description. If you didn't already do this for your reflection option. And then I want you to write about what words you could use to counter the negative self-talk that you have going on in your mind that might contribute to anxiety. Finally, next Monday is going to be your next 2 reflection papers. So you can turn those in electronically to me in my inbox by 8 a.m. next Monday. So I hope you'd enjoyed the readings, and I hope you enjoyed the slides and the TED Talks and the reflection activities, and I will look forward to having you turn in those reflection activities to me with your papers on Monday. Or actually, you can't turn them in with your papers. You can turn them in to me next Wednesday when you take the exam. Thanks. Good night.